Holding the exact same World Cup 2026 ticket, picking the wrong country could turn your dream trip into an absolute financial nightmare. Picture this. You've just survived a grueling 4-hour transcontinental flight. Your back is killing you, your eyes are heavy, and you drag your massive suitcase through the airport's automatic sliding doors. You're hyped this is your first World Cup ever, a childhood dream finally coming true. In Mexico, the second you step outside, you flag down a dirt-cheap taxi and are instantly swallowed by a roaring street party. Brass bands blaring, meat sizzling on open grills, and seas of fans in green jerseys dancing on the pavement. You can literally smell the spicy, smoky aroma in the air, and you feel your blood boiling with excitement, syncing with the heartbeat of a million other fans. Cross over to Canada, and the experience is completely polarized. You casually step onto a spotless, ultra-smooth train leaving the airport. Everyone around you is politely offering up their seats. There's no yelling, no shoving. You look out the window and see majestic snow-capped mountains framing the horizon, blending into the deep blue ocean. It's an eerie, almost therapeutic calm, a peaceful silence before the massive football storm hits. But what if you land in the United States? Brace yourself. You're standing in the middle of a massive concrete parking lot, sweating profusely under the blazing summer sun, desperately waiting for an Uber. You're surrounded by an endless ocean of gridlocked traffic and blaring horns. And then the first reality check hits you. That one 5-minute Uber ride to your hotel just wiped out the equivalent of a full night's hotel stay. $50 USD vaporized in an instant just to travel a few miles. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most insane, massive, and honestly chaotic World Cup in the history of human civilization. Unlike the compact nature of Qatar 2022, for the first time ever, the world's biggest sporting event has been torn apart and thrown across 3 massive nations. We are entering a new era. 48 national teams, 104 emotionally explosive matches, sweeping across 16 cities, stretching thousands of miles from the freezing north all the way down to the scorching south. Millions of fans from Europe, Asia, and South America are facing an unprecedented geographical and financial puzzle. If you're dreaming of packing your bags and joining the madness, there is one massive, life-or-death question living rent-free in your head right now. Out of these 3 giant nations, which one is actually going to give you an experience worth every drop of your hard-earned money? Where should you set up your base camp to optimize your trip? To answer this survival-level question, I dragged the US, Mexico, and Canada onto the chopping block. I forced them through 5 brutal survival tests. We are evaluating both the incredible highs and the harsh lows, fairly, stripping away the PR to look at the raw reality. Let's get into it. Test 1. The financial trap and cost of living. Let's start with the cold, hard numbers, because money is the biggest barrier for any football fanatic. In Mexico, the average budget to survive is just $50 to $60 USD a day. That covers 3 massive meals, unlimited metro rides, and a bed in a budget hotel or Airbnb. Want to buy a souvenir jersey? Local markets sell high-quality, unofficial jerseys for just $10 USD, 10 times cheaper than stadium stores. An ice-cold beer outside the stadium costs just $2 USD. You are living a royal lifestyle on a broke college student's budget. However, the major downside is heavy cash dependency. You must always carry thick stacks of pesos. Credit cards are rarely accepted at street vendors or traditional markets. Furthermore, currency exchange rates at tourist traps and airports are specifically designed to silently eat away at your budget. You'll have to get used to doing mental math every time you buy something. Cross into the United States, and you must prepare for a true financial black hole. US hotels have a notorious feature called surge pricing. A standard $150 USD room will instantly skyrocket to $600 or $800 USD a night during match weeks. As for food, you see a meal listed for $20 USD on the menu? That is an absolute illusion. The actual bill jumps to $27 or $30 USD once you add state tax, city tax, and the aggressive 18 to 22% mandatory invisible tip culture. The bare minimum budget sits around $150 to $200 USD a day, and that doesn't even include match tickets or flights. But on the flip side, America offers supreme, hyper-capitalist convenience. Credit cards, Apple Pay, and Google Pay are accepted literally everywhere, even for a bottle of water at a vending machine. Portion sizes are massive enough to easily feed 2 people. Plus, the customer service standards in the US are generally the best in the world. The customer is king, mentality is fully enforced. Canada sits comfortably in the middle, offering what I call expensive honesty. The budget is around $80 to $110 USD a day. The bright side is that tipping culture, here, around 15%, isn't nearly as hostile, weaponized, or aggressively demanded as it is in the US. You won't get death stares from waiters. However, don't let that politeness lower your guard. Canada also plays the hidden tax game just like America. The major flaw here is the exorbitant consumer tax, up to 15% depending on the province. Whether you buy a souvenir or a dinner, the price is quietly inflated at the cash register compared to the menu price. You will feel safer in Canada, but your bank account will still drain at an alarming rate. Test 2. The culinary culture shock. The World Cup isn't just about football. It's a festival for your taste buds. In Mexico, street food isn't just a snack. It is an officially recognized UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. You don't need a fancy restaurant to eat well. At outdoor markets, tianguis, for just $3 USD, you can sink your teeth into a massive, cheese-oozing quesadilla or a charcoal-grilled torta drenched in fiery green salsa. The smell of wood smoke invades your senses, creating a peak sensory experience. But here is the critical flaw: food safety and hygiene. If you come from a colder climate, have a weak stomach, or absolutely cannot handle extreme spice, Mexican street food can become a disaster. You might end up locked in a bathroom for 2 days, missing your favorite team's match over a bad sidewalk taco. The US fires back with the overwhelming power of a massive multicultural F&B industry. In Texas, you will be blown away by massive, arm-sized smoked BBQ ribs wrapped in foil. In LA, you can find steaming bowls of Vietnamese pho or Korean BBQ that are just as good and often more hygienic than the originals. The massive American craft beer scene is also a huge bonus for traveling fans. Inside billion-dollar megastadiums like AT&T or MetLife, you aren't stuck eating cold-boiled hot dogs. You can eat premium sushi, lobster rolls, or Wagyu beef burgers. Yes, paying an extortionate $30 to $40 USD for a meal in a cardboard tray hurts deeply. But you absolutely cannot deny the unparalleled international diversity and high quality that the US brings. Whatever cuisine you crave, America can serve it to you. Canada is the silent dark horse on the culinary map. They boast the legendary Montreal smoked meat, secretly spiced, multi-day smoked beef brisket piled high on rye bread, providing perfect warmth in the chilly weather. At the same time, places like Lawrence Market in Toronto act as a miniature global food capital thanks to a highly diverse immigrant population. However, Canada's weakness is the distinct lack of a vibrant, loud, and iconic street food culture. You will mostly be forced to dine inside expensive sit-down restaurants or indoor food courts. You will rarely find that raw, sensory overload experience of eating incredible food right on a dusty sidewalk like you do in Mexico City. Test 3. The vibe check and atmosphere. The atmosphere is what separates a legendary World Cup from a standard sporting event. In Mexico, football is a supreme religion. The streets around the stadiums become a borderless fan zone. Around Estadio Akron or Estadio Azteca, tens of thousands of fans glowing in green wear, intimidating lucha libre wrestling masks. They beat giant war drums and blast brass horns from morning until midnight. It is a primal, wild, and deeply tribal energy. However, this fanaticism can sometimes cross the line into overwhelming chaos. Furthermore, despite their deep and glorious history, Mexican stadiums are noticeably older. They feature cramped concrete seating and a distinct lack of modern technological amenities, like climate-controlled roofs, to shield you from the blinding sun or sudden tropical downpours. The US doesn't have that traditional fanaticism, but they crush everyone with macro-scale and cutting-edge entertainment technology. American stadiums are architectural marvels. AT&T Stadium in Dallas features a suspended LED screen so massive it blocks out the sky, paired with a giant AC system, keeping the venue at a perfect 72 degrees Fahrenheit while it's a furnace outside. Most importantly, America brings its unique tailgate party culture. Tens of thousands of fans drive pickup trucks into massive parking lots 5 hours before kickoff. They pitch tents, grill meat, drink beer, and blast music, creating an unprecedented pre-match festival. While the deep, raw passion in the stands rarely burns as fiercely as it does in Mexico, the The sheer theatrical spectacle, lighting effects, and entertainment value the US provides is undeniably number one in the world. Canada brings a completely different, unique frequency at BMO Field in Toronto, or BC Place in Vancouver. With retractable roofs showcasing snow-capped mountains, the stands here feel like a mini United Nations, civilized, open, and incredibly friendly. Fans don't riot, they don't light flares, and there are no hostile chants. They enjoy the game together as a cultural festival. But this extreme politeness is a double-edged sword for hardcore ultras. The atmosphere in Canada can sometimes feel a bit too tame and quiet, lacking the deafening roar, the intense hostility, and the overwhelming intimidation you secretly crave in a high-stakes World Cup knockout match. Test 4. The Danger Zone, Security, and Healthcare. Canada wins the personal security round flawlessly, leaving the others in the dust. Vancouver and Toronto are cities engineered for peace, with ridiculously low crime rates. You can stroll through downtown at 2 a.m., holding the latest iPhone, without a worry in the world. If you suffer a minor accident, the medical costs are reasonable and humane. But remember, extreme safety often comes with dullness. Canadian streets can become incredibly quiet, with shops closing early and lacking vibrant nightlife after the match ends. You won't find the all-night, chaotic street parties seen in the other two Latin and American nations. The US, in stark contrast, is an absolute destructive nightmare regarding medical costs. Stadium security is strictly run at NFL standards, featuring helicopters and SWAT teams. It's incredibly safe inside. But if you step outside, trip, and break your arm, or call an ambulance for food poisoning, a $15,000 USD medical bill will slap you in the face. Coming to the US for the World Cup without a premium travel insurance package is financial suicide. However, to balance that out, America's emergency response teams, 911, and medical facilities are the most advanced on the planet. If you are properly insured, you will receive world-class, life-saving care with the most cutting-edge medical equipment available anywhere. In Mexico, wipe those toxic cartel stereotypes planted by Hollywood out of your brain. The World Cup zones will be heavily fortified by the government, military, and police with the strictest security perimeters. You won't see gunfights on tourist streets. However, the real risk is elite pickpockets in suffocatingly crowded subway stations. 1 second of distraction, and your wallet or passport vanishes. Additionally, digital scams like fake match tickets or phantom Airbnb listings are common. The massive upside, though, is that local tourist police are incredibly friendly and helpful, and Mexico boasts a network of affordable, high-quality private clinics, open 24/7, specifically catering to international travelers. Test 5. The Logistics Nightmare and Transportation. Canada handles the logistics puzzle incredibly smoothly. Public transit, like Vancouver's SkyTrain, is flawless, spotless, and accurate to the second. Vancouver International Airport, YVR, is designed like an art museum with hyper-fast immigration. You can literally take a scenic stroll from your downtown hotel straight to the stadium. The only bottleneck? These compact transit systems can get severely overcrowded right after the final whistle, forcing you into long lines. And the biggest hurdle: domestic flight tickets to travel between the West Coast, Vancouver, and the East Coast, Toronto, are absurdly expensive due to airline monopolies. In brutal contrast, the US is a terrifying nightmare of distance and car-dependent urban planning. In megacities like LA or Miami, gridlock traffic on 8-lane highways is a daily feature. LAX airport is perpetually chaotic. You will have to cough up $30 to $40 USD for an Uber because the distances are too vast, and walking is practically impossible or even dangerous due to a lack of sidewalks. Despite this, the US compensates with a massive, highly efficient domestic airline network, offering countless cheap flights, allowing you to bounce from Dallas to New York easily. Furthermore, they have massive, strategically designed parking lots right next to stadiums, perfectly catering to fan groups who prefer renting a car for a road trip. In Mexico, public transit like the metro is insanely cheap, just $0.30 USD a ride. But the language barrier is brutal. Signs and announcements rarely feature English, making it incredibly easy to get on the wrong train or wander into sketchy neighborhoods. Furthermore, the distances between the three host cities, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, are huge and separated by mountains, forcing you to rely on domestic flights rather than trains or buses. And rush hour road traffic in central Mexico City is just as chaotic, gridlocked, and smog-filled as any American metropolis. Conclusion: we survived the 5 most brutal survival tests. Clearly, there is no absolute perfect country across the board. The final decision entirely depends on what you are willing to trade off and what your personal travel style is. The title of technological marvel and supreme entertainment undoubtedly goes to the US. It's for those who want breathtaking scale, billion-dollar stadiums, endless shopping, and the absolute peak of modern amenities. But the prerequisite: your bank account must be strong, and your credit limit high enough to absorb the shock of hyperinflation and tip culture. The title of the safe and frictionless vacation honors Canada. This is a paradise for those who hate risk, are traveling with family, and want a zero-stress World Cup wrapped in absolute safety amidst gorgeous natural scenery. In exchange, you will have to adapt to high taxes and a slightly tamer, more orderly stadium atmosphere. And finally, the title of the primal football experience loudly calls out Mexico, a place with explosive street food, unbelievably cheap costs, and the most radiant, deeply rooted football passion on the planet. But to truly enjoy it, you must equip yourself with a stomach of steel, patience for the language barrier, and high situational awareness to protect your belongings. Would you rather spend $1,000 USD in the US for top-tier tech, or take that exact same $1,000 to live like an uncrowned king in Mexico, or choose to pay a premium in Canada for absolute peace of mind for you and your family? The decision is entirely yours. Drop your choice in the comments below and let me know why. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell to arm yourself with more unfiltered, gritty survival guides for the 2026 World Cup. See you guys on the next journey.